Alright, let's talk about Pomeranians. You know, those tiny, fluffy dogs that look like they were designed by a committee of 5-year-olds who just discovered crayons. They're basically what happens when a fox and a cotton ball have a baby, and it inherits the confidence of a seasoned Broadway performer. These dogs are small, like really small. You ever see one in a purse? That's not an accessory. That's their natural habitat. Pomeranians in handbags are like hipsters in coffee shops. You don't know how they got there, but you're not surprised when you see them. And the hair. Oh, the hair. Pomeranians have so much fur, they make a yeti look underdressed. They could single-handedly supply the world's wig industry. You brush a Pomeranian for 10 minutes, and suddenly your house looks like a scene from a winter wonderland. Forget snow globes, just shake a Pomeranian, and you get the same effect. But despite being roughly the size of a decorative throw pillow, these dogs have the personality of a 200-pound security guard. They walk into a room like they own it. Meanwhile, you're the one paying the rent. You ever see a Pomeranian in action? They're like tiny motivational speakers. If you had half their confidence, you'd be running a Fortune 500 company by now. The bark factor. Let's address the elephant in the room. Or, more accurately, the high-pitched, never-ending siren. Pomeranians bark at everything. Someone knocks on the door? Bark. A leaf moves outside? Bark. They see their own reflection? Existential crisis followed by, you guessed it, more barking. They act like they're protecting you, but honestly, what are they gonna do? Lick the intruder into submission? Give them a lecture on personal space? Pomeranians bark like they have security clearance at the Pentagon, but if someone actually walked in, they'd probably just look at you like, alright, you handle this. I've done my part. The energy levels. Pomeranians have more energy than a toddler who just discovered candy. You ever try to take a Pomeranian for a walk? You don't walk them, they walk you. And by walk, I mean they sprint in chaotic zigzags like they're playing their own personal game of tag with the universe. And inside the house? Forget about it. One minute they're curled up looking adorable. The next minute they're zooming around the room like they just remembered they left the stove on. These dogs have two modes: royalty lounging on a velvet cushion and full-scale Olympic sprinter. There is no in-between. The attitude. Pomeranians think they're the main character. They are the diva, the CEO, the VIP, and the lead actor in their own movie. If you ignore them, they will remind you, repeatedly. You ever try working from home with a Pomeranian? You might as well just send your boss an email saying, I will be unavailable today due to excessive fluff-related interruptions. And good luck leaving them alone. Pomeranians have separation anxiety, like they just discovered you're secretly leading a double life. You step out for 5 minutes, and when you come back, they act like you've been lost at sea for years. Oh, you survived. Tell me everything. Where have you been? Did you fight a dragon? Was there treasure? The history. These little dogs have a royal history. Back in the day, they were much bigger, like actual working dog size. Then, some queen in England got one and was like, you know what would make this dog better? If it were the size of a teacup. And boom, now they're tiny. And here's the crazy part. Historically, they were bred to pull sleds. Can you imagine that? A bunch of tiny Pomeranians trying to pull a sled across the Arctic? That's not a sled team. That's an adorable traffic jam. The grooming commitment. Pomeranians require grooming. And by require, I mean prepare to dedicate half your life to maintaining their fluff. You ever try to bathe a Pomeranian? It's like washing a dandelion in a hurricane. 1 second, they look like a majestic lion, and the next, they're a wet rat contemplating their life choices. And the brushing. If you don't brush them, they turn into a sentient tumbleweed. They shed so much, you could probably collect enough fur to build a second Pomeranian. People say cats leave fur everywhere. Nah, cats are amateurs. A Pomeranian walks into a room, and suddenly your black pants are now part of the white and orange collection. The Pomeranian mindset. But despite all this, despite the barking, the attitude, the grooming commitment, Pomeranians are, without question, one of the most lovable creatures on the planet. They have the heart of a lion, the loyalty of a knight, and the personality of a stand-up comedian who refuses to leave the stage. They will love you with every ounce of their tiny, fluffy being. They will follow you everywhere, look at you like you invented happiness, and make you laugh every single day. Owning a Pomeranian is like having a best friend who just happens to be covered in an unreasonable amount of fur. So, what are Pomeranians? They're comedians, divas, athletes, security guards, and cuddle champions all rolled into one. They're small but mighty, loud but loving, and dramatic but delightful. And at the end of the day, they remind us all of one important lesson. No matter your size, walk into every room like you own the place.